I've always believed the best way to understand a place is simply to go there. Walk its streets, eat the food, talk to the people who actually live there. Travel has a way of turning ordinary moments into unforgettable stories. And in this series, I'm inviting you to come along for the ride. Every trip is a little different. Sometimes, things go exactly as planned. And sometimes, they really don't. I'm standing on land that is often called the beating heart of Asia. It's a place shaped by history and resilience. It is a land of ancient temples, vibrant night markets, and breathtaking landscapes. Yes, the place I'm talking about is Taiwan. Starting in Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan, across the water to Cijin Island, then north to Chiayi, and into the mountains of Alishan, before continuing to Taipei with stops in Jiufen and Shifen along the way. I've been here before. Not once, not twice, 7 times. And yet, every trip feels different. Most people, when they think of Taiwan, think of Taipei. But this time, I wanted something else. For the first time, Kaohsiung, southern Taiwan. Less talked about, a little slower, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. Yes, I made it. I'm finally here in Kaohsiung. First stop, SIM card. Second, something I've carried with me since 2018, an easy card. Same card, different city, still works. The MRT glides quietly through the city. No drama, no chaos. Outside, Kaohsiung feels lighter. Wider streets, less density. It doesn't try too hard, and that's exactly its charm. First night in Taiwan, you eat. Raohe Night Market. Not the biggest, not the most famous, but that's not really the point. Pork belly grilled slow, edges crisping just right. Wrapped with kimchi, sweet, sour, a little spicy. Messy, and somehow perfect. The next morning, the city softens. Cool air, a slower pace, a short train ride, a walk, a ferry. Across the shimmering water is Cijin Island, my first destination here in Kaohsiung. And to get there, I'm gonna ride one of these. And just like that, you're somewhere else. Cijin Island. Places like this don't demand your attention. They earn it slowly. You ride a bike. You let yourself get lost. A temple here, a quiet street there. At Cijin Beach, the horizon stretches endlessly. No skyscrapers, no noise, just wind and time. Up at the lighthouse, everything opens up. 360 degrees of sea, sky, and city in the distance. And nearby, old forts stand quietly, remnants of a past that doesn't try to impress anymore. It just exists. Then it's back, a short ferry ride, a flag waving behind you as the mainland slowly comes back into view. Taiwan doesn't feel like one place. It feels like many, stitched together. Kaohsiung surprises you. Pier 2 Art Center. Old warehouses turn into something else entirely. Art, space, movement. Cities evolve, and here you can actually see it happening. Behind me you will see Tagang Chao, or Great Harbor Bridge. It is Taiwan's first horizontally rotating bridge, meaning whenever a ship passes through, it detaches from the land and turns. The harbor stretches wide, bridges connecting one side to another, and somewhere nearby, the Love River flows quietly through it all. You could walk it, but the city's bigger than it looks. So you take the train, and somehow, that's always better. Back at Raohe, this time you understand it more. Night markets aren't just about food, they're about rhythm. You don't rush, you don't plan too much, you just follow what smells good. The next day, everything changes. From noise to stillness. Before leaving the city, a stop underground. The dome of light. Color, glass, light stretching across the ceiling. And then, Guang Shan. Massive, quiet, almost overwhelming. A giant Buddha watches over everything. Not intimidating, not imposing, just present. People move slower here, voices soften, and for a moment, everything else fades. Getting here wasn't simple. No buses, no clear plan, just shared rides with strangers. And somewhere along the way, you meet Filipinos. A young man, his aunt. She tells me about Taiwan, how she worked here years ago in Tainan. Long days, a different life. Now she's back, just visiting a friend, and suddenly, this isn't just a trip anymore. It's something else. I was supposed to explore the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas, but it was getting dark. And sometimes, you choose the moment over the itinerary, because not everything needs to be completed. Some things are meant to be experienced. Dinner happens at Raohe, and this one feels different. Bigger, louder, more chaotic. Dumplings, soft wrappers, bursting with flavor. Noodles, simple but done right. Taiwan doesn't try to reinvent food, it just perfects it. Before leaving Kaohsiung, I made one last stop. Lotus Pond. Home to the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. You enter through the dragon and exit through the tiger, a ritual meant to turn bad luck into good. This was the plan all along. I skipped it the first time, choosing the moment over the itinerary, but this time, I made sure not to miss it. And because of that, time caught up. Chiayi was close enough for the TRA, but not today. HSR. Sometimes you trade time for speed. Taiwan High-Speed Rail isn't just transport, it's precision. Fast, efficient, almost effortless. But there's always that trade-off, speed or experience. Chiayi welcomes you the way Taiwan always does, with food. Beef noodle soup, a deep slow-cooked broth, slightly sweet, slightly salty, the kind that lingers. Then, rojiamo, crispy bread, juicy filling, messy, unexpected, addictive.
不好意思，那个叫什么？
肉夹馍，
肉夹馍。肉夹馍。对，谢谢。So ayun daw yung tawag daw doon, rojiamo.
Chiayi feels like a pause. Not quite a destination, but not just a stop either. And somewhere here, between train schedules and quiet streets, is something unexpectedly familiar. A place I've never been to, but somehow already know. Meteor Garden. For many Filipinos, this wasn't just a show. This was Shansai, Taomingsi, Huatzilei. And here at National Zhongzheng University, the steps, the campus, like stepping into something you've already seen, but never thought you'd actually experience. Some places stay with you because you've seen them before, on screens, in stories, in a different time of your life, and for a moment, you're not just traveling, you're remembering. Somewhere beyond the city, where the crowds begin to thin, is a place that asks for nothing except that you slow down. The next morning, you leave everything behind. Up into the mountains. Alishan. The air changes. Cooler. Thinner. Trains move slower here. Not because they have to, but because they should. Towering trees surround you. Paths wind quietly through forests that feel ancient. Incense rises slowly. Meals are simple, and time stretches. Then, Taipei. No rush this time. TRA. Slower by a couple hours, almost half the price, and sometimes that's the better choice. Taipei feels familiar, because it is. There's a small stall I always come back to. Years ago, I stumbled upon it by accident, and ever since, I never skipped it. Dongfen, Jiufen. Simple food, but then something clicked. They called it tanghun, and suddenly it made sense. Sotanghon, different country, same roots.
So I just bought my usual, I think it's called tanghun, similar to sotanghon.
Then there's Addiction Aquatic. Part market, part restaurant. You pick your food, you eat it fresh. No drama, just quality. And then, mochi. Soft, chewy, covered in just enough sweetness. Always a line. Always worth it. From something light to something more grounded.
I'm visiting the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. This place is not just about impressive architecture, but it's also a monument to one of Taiwan's most iconic figures, Chiang Kai-shek.
Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. Built to honor the former president of Taiwan, a figure who shaped the island's modern history. Today, it's one of the first places many visitors come to. Massive, symmetrical, almost intimidating. Inside, silence, precision, discipline. From there, the day winds down. Taipei moves at its own pace, and for now, so do I. The next day, we head out of the city. A bus ride along the coast. Mountains on one side, the sea on the other. And slowly, the roads begin to narrow. Until you arrive somewhere that feels almost unreal. Jiufen. Walking into Jiufen Old Street feels like stepping into another time. Narrow alleys, endless rows of shops, lanterns hanging overhead like a scene from a film. You don't really follow a plan here. You just walk, stop, eat, repeat. Grilled Taiwanese sausage, sweet, smoky, slightly sticky. Simple, but exactly what you want in a place like this. And then, stinky tofu, one of Taiwan's most infamous street foods. Fermented, pungent. The smell hits you before you even see it. But once you get past the smell, it's actually good. Really good. And then you reach the edge. The view opens up. Mountains, sea, and layers of rooftops stacked on top of each other. Some say this place inspired Spirited Away. Not officially confirmed, but standing here, you can see why people believe it. From Jiufen, we make our way to Shifen, a small town built around a railway line. Here, trains don't just pass through the town, they pass through the street. Around the tracks, food stalls, souvenirs, small details that make the place feel alive. And then, the lanterns. People writing wishes, hopes, names, things they want to hold on to or let go of. You light it, wait for the flame to build, and then you let go. Not far from here, Shifen Waterfall. Water crashing down with a kind of quiet force. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just steady, like everything else in this part of Taiwan. Back in Taipei, the night begins again. Raohe Night Market. If Jiufen feels nostalgic, Raohe feels alive. You walk in, and it hits you immediately. Smoke rising from grills, crowds moving in every direction, the sound of food being cooked everywhere. At the entrance, Songshan Temple. Incense, street food. This is where Taiwan really shows off. Stalls lined up one after another, each one specializing in just one thing, and doing it well. You eat, even when you're full, because here, you don't say no. And just when you think you're done, you find something else. Another Rojamo stall. And somehow, you're eating again. Taipei doesn't really slow down. Even at night, you keep going. The next day, you start with a plan to see the city from above.
I'm standing outside this architectural marvel that once held the title the world's tallest tower, Taipei 101.
An icon of the skyline, impossible to miss.
For 600 Taiwan dollars, you can ride an elevator to the top of Taipei 101 for panoramic views of the city. But today, I'm feeling more adventurous.
The idea is simple. Climb it. From up here, you start to see it differently. Taiwan. From there, everything slows down. The climb is over, but the city keeps going. I make my way down into Xinyi district where everything starts moving again. And then back to something familiar. One of my favorite noodle spots in the city, Lao Chou beef noodle. A bowl of spicy beef shank noodles, rich broth, slow cooked, full of depth. Thin noodles soaking everything in. Nothing complicated, just done properly. And just like that, the city keeps unfolding. Temples, Longshan Temple, crowded, alive, filled with incense and quiet prayers. Old streets, Bo Piliao historical block, red brick walls, narrow paths, a glimpse into Taipei before everything changed. And then, back to the present, night markets that never seem to end. Ximending, bright lights, loud streets, energy that doesn't slow down. Dinner at a small spot I've been quietly gatekeeping. Pork wonton noodle soup. Light broth, clean flavors. The kind of meal that doesn't try too hard, but gets everything right. And just when you think the day's over, you keep going. Shilin Night Market. One of the biggest in Taipei. Games, food, crowds, everything happening all at once. You walk, you eat, you take it all in. Every night feels like a new beginning. Taiwan doesn't try to impress you. It doesn't need to. It's in the details, the food, the systems, the people you meet along the way. And somewhere between the night markets, the train rides, and the quiet moments in between, you stop feeling like a visitor and start feeling like you belong. Taiwan isn't just a destination, it's a place you return to again and again, not because you have to, but because something about it stays with you.